Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and here's my post-fight review for Casimero versus Fillipus and Nghitumbwa. And this was an entertaining fight. I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch it, but it was worth it. Despite Casimero winning the fight, it was a competitive fight, and Nghitumbwa really came to fight and showed that he had real heart and toughness and wanted to win. So shout out and respect to my African brother. Casimero was one step above Nghitumbwa in all departments, but Casimero really had to work for this win, and I felt like the commentators did not acknowledge all of the good stuff that Nghitumbwa did in this fight. The fight started off real fast. Casimero came out strong and fast, attacking Nghitumbwa with power, volume, and pressure. Casimero was landing the overhand right and body shots. However, Nghitumbwa would remain cool and confident and would fight back, landing a counter left hook whenever Casimero was in close range and exchanging and trying to establish his jab. After the initial strong, fast start in the first round, the fight tempo and pacing would slow down a bit. From rounds 2 to 4, Nghitumbwa would assert himself and apply pressure, coming forward with a high guard and putting Casimero on the back foot. Nghitumbwa controlled the range with his jab and would follow up with the right hand. Casimero would get hit by the jab, but would often roll or slip the right hand and circle off the ropes whenever he was pushed to them. Casimero, on the other hand, would box and move. He would find his spots to close the distance and get in the pocket, in which he would land combinations. Casimero was also attacking the body consistently with the right hook and also with the left, trying to slow down Nghitumbwa but also set up the overhand right. When exchanges would happen, Nghitumbwa would often catch Casimero for a counter left hook, even if Casimero would win the exchange. By the 4th round, however, Nghitumbwa became predictable with his attacks, especially with the 1-2, 1-1-2, and the counter left hook. Casimero would begin to capitalize and take control. Casimero began to counterpunch Nghitumbwa. He used his jab to set up punches and would put Nghitumbwa on the ropes to land combinations. But the fight was still competitive and even. That would all change in the 6th round when Casimero dropped Nghitumbwa with his own counter left hook in an exchange. Nghitumbwa got caught throwing his own left hook and he would go down hard but managed to get back up. At that point, I thought Casimero would finish the fight because Casimero was throwing a lot of power shots and a lot were landing. However, Nghitumbwa was able to survive the round. In round 7, you can tell that Casimero gassed himself out a bit in the last round, and this allowed Nghitumbwa to recover, but Casimero was still in control of the fight and trying to find a way to knock out Nghitumbwa. Casimero was focused on landing a big counterpunch and attacking the body to slow down Nghitumbwa, and Casimero was able to hurt Nghitumbwa several times. But you can tell that Casimero started to fade because his punch output decreased and he was initiating a lot of clinches. This allowed Nghitumbwa to recover and remain competitive despite losing rounds 7 through 9. However, the momentum would shift in the championship rounds, and Nghitumbwa would make an adjustment. He stopped being overly aggressive and began to utilize his distance and range more. Nghitumbwa would re-establish his jab and land the right hand more consistently. He would also mix up the right hand with hooks and uppercuts. Nghitumbwa would still land the counter left hook in exchanges and would get rough whenever Casimero tried to clinch. Nghitumbwa would also smother the offense of Casimero. Casimero would still find success, but he was fighting in spurts. His defense became a little sloppier, and his body attacks were not working anymore, despite landing them. In my opinion, I thought Casimero lost the championship rounds. He definitely would have lost the 12th round, but the point deduction that Nghitumbwa got helped the scorecards, and I thought the point deduction was a little bit unnecessary. He would hit him in the back of the head on accident whenever Casimero would duck down or turn his head on the inside, so it wasn't intentional, but it's whatever. Overall, it was a good fight, and I thought that the scorecards for the most part were fair. I scored the fight 114-112 in favor of Casimero, but shout out to both of the fighters. Hopefully Nghitumbwa can get more opportunities because he fought well, and maybe he can be a fighter that fights in the Philippines or Japan consistently because he fought very well, and the fans seem to enjoy his fighting style, his heart, and some of the antics that he was doing in the ring. So once again, shout out to him. But the real question is, where does Casimero go from here? He just won the WBO Global Belt, therefore he should climb the 122 WBO rankings. Fulton is the WBO champion, Inoue is ranked number 1, while Rais Salim is ranked number 2, and Luis Neri is ranked number 3. The Inoue fight is not going to happen next, so Casimero should try to get a fight with Alim or Neri. A win over those names would definitely put Casimero in title shot contention, but based on what I saw in this fight, I have serious doubts that Casimero can beat Fulton, Inoue, Aleem, Neri, or Tapales. Don't get me wrong, Casimero is a good fighter, and he has a good IQ, but this fight showed me that a good jab and the ability to counterpunch can beat Casimero. Casimero was getting hit a lot with the jab, which then allowed Nghitumbwa to follow up with offense. Casimero was consistently getting hit with the counter left hook, and he didn't make any adjustments to stop it. If Nghitumbwa was able to have that success on Casimero, then a smarter, more experienced boxer like Inoue will have more success than what Nghitumbwa had. Regardless, Casimero needs a big fight soon because he's 34 years old. His chances of beating a top name will decrease if he keeps on waiting or he doesn't get an opportunity. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like and subscribe, and more content is coming your way.